You're listening to the Happy Workaholic podcast. I'm your host, Kellyanne Gorman. This show was once about business, LinkedIn, and my life with an autoimmune disease. And then one day I found out I was misdiagnosed, so I had to switch things up a bit. Life is so short, and when you're given a second chance, you better believe I'm going to take it, celebrate it, and share it with you. I'm on a mission to help women take their business and life to that next level they deserve to be at. This show is intended to elevate your mind, upgrade your business, enhance your life, and become part of a positive and uplifting community. Inspiration, motivation, and determination are what got me to where I am today, and I cannot wait to share these amazing stories of other female entrepreneurs who will be featured on the show. If you have a story or brand you want to share, send me a message on Facebook and Instagram today. You can find me at The Happy Workaholic. I would love to connect with you. Do you want a live chat during this episode? Make sure you're listening on iHeartRadio. I'm here to remind you to work hard, stay humble, follow your dreams, and never, ever give up. Thanks for taking the time to subscribe to the Happy Workaholic podcast. And now let's get into today's show. Today's episode is brought to you by Your Podcast Production. Have you been wanting to launch your own podcast but not sure where to begin? Is time the only thing holding you back? Maybe you're already recording but need somebody to guide you through the production process. Do you have a message that needs to be heard? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then I have just the program for you. Your Podcast Production designs, coaches, produces, and aligns you and your brand to have a successful, enjoyable, and profitable podcast. After launching my own show, I had so many women reach out to me and ask me how I did it. So what did I do? I created something I wish existed. There are many ways to create and launch a podcast, and you want to make sure you do it right from the very beginning. I believe that keeping it simple, organized, and original is the most effective and efficient way to go. Are you ready to start the process? Are you ready to learn more? Visit yourpodcastproduction.com today. Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new show. It is Friday. Happy fucking Friday. And it's 2 days away from my favorite day of the entire year, besides my birthday, St. Patrick's Day. I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just so excited for this day. It is my favorite. Okay, so let's jump right into today's show. I'm still working on my first coffee, and I want to give you a little recap of my week. So if you listened to 2 episodes ago, my last solo show, it was pretty emotional. And, you know, I'm so incredibly grateful for having a platform like this where it helps me share my story. It helps me feel more comfortable. You know, I do a lot of live video about being misdiagnosed, but now it's a whole nother journey. So I've been getting a lot of messages about this episode. I've cried on a lot of episodes. I mean, I've been on quite the emotional roller coaster. But what I want to share with you today is that this week was great. And I powered through. I went through new attorneys and called them. I'm still waiting for 10 more. So fingers crossed one of them works out. So I can move forward with the legal part of my life, right? But other than that, that takes a toll. And I don't know if it was Mercury retrograde or, the change in the temperature. I don't know what was going on. Something else was happening. Oh, the time change. I was an emotional basket case. And I know a lot of my friends and my clients, they're asking me, and everybody's posting it on Facebook, are you having problems sleeping? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm having problems sleeping. I haven't slept all week. It's so crazy. Excuse me. So, I've never really experienced a change in my sleeping pattern when it came to changing the clocks. But I'm thinking maybe because I was so doped up on so many meds before, I just never noticed. And that's also another reason why I was crying, because over the last couple of months, I've realized since I stopped taking 12 medications, I'm finally feeling things again. I can't tell you how many times I cry. Last night I couldn't sleep again, and I was watching New Amsterdam, which, by the way, if you guys don't watch this show on NBC, it's so good. I was bawling at like 2:30 in the morning. Obviously, of course, they had to have like the worst cliffhanger. And I'm like, oh my God, are you really ending the show like this? It was so intense. I was like, no, you know that happens? Drives you nuts, right? So here I am hysterically crying. It's like so early in the morning. I can't sleep. I watched my favorite show and now I'm stuck with all these questions. I'm like, this is so not fair. And then it dawned on me like, I can't stop crying again. Like I finally can feel emotions. Like I cry. I didn't cry for a long time. Well, I did cry, but I didn't feel emotions. I literally was numb. And I didn't realize until now, like I'm feeling all these things. It's the craziest thing. But anyway, so I'm feeling a lot better with that, and thank you for listening to that show and reaching out if you did. You know, I'm just putting my life out there so that I can help other people, right? And that's just part of my story at this moment in time. Is please help me find an attorney. Okay, so moving on. The next thing I want to talk about is my crazy week. So I'm in launch mode. So if you don't follow me on social media, I just launched a brand new program called Start Your Podcast Today. And so it's a 10-step program for beginners. It's 2 one-on-one coaching calls. They last about 60, 90 minutes, depending on, you know, how much information we need to go over. And God, I should have really had a hot tea before I recorded. I'm so sorry, guys. And what was I saying? Definitely should have had my coffee. Oh my gosh, what was I saying? Okay, so my podcast. So it's 2 coaching calls. And yes, I could have created an amazing course, but you know what? I'm my best for other people when I'm one-on-one. And I've said this a bunch of times. So I feel like because everybody's in such a different place, that it's easier for me to coach them one-on-one. And I just want to talk to people all day. And so that's how I created this program. So it's 2 calls, 60 to 90 minutes each. And there's 5 steps for each call, and it's for beginners, and then you can graduate into Your Podcast Production, which is the full-blown podcast course, right? So it's on sale right now for $59. That's it, $59, and you can learn how to launch your podcast. I wish I had that available when I launched my show. And then if you sign up today, you actually get 50% off Your Podcast Production. So if you guys are looking for a podcast, this is definitely something that you're going to want to invest in today. The sale ends today. It goes up to $129 tomorrow. So I've been working on that all week, like in launch mode. And then we had a little surprise from Facebook and Instagram. Not working at all. And it was just insane. And I got so much done without it. However, I kind of had to go into a different game plan. Like I had to be in work mode and just figure it out. So if you're ever in some crazy situation where you're stuck, you don't know what to do, you know, you just have to figure it out. You need to be resourceful. You need to just figure the shit out. And if it doesn't work out the way that you want, well, then you learned a lesson. If it works out the way that you wanted, and if, you know, even more, then that's freaking amazing. But at least you can say you tried. Like, let's just try something new, right? So I spent my morning producing podcasts. I did 6 podcasts in the morning. And then I just started thinking like, God, I rely so much on Facebook and Instagram for my business, and that is not good. And I literally just launched an affiliate program for everybody that is referring business my way, because my business is all referrals right now, which I'm so, so grateful for. And I wanted to give back. So clearly spending my money on ads with Zuckerberg would have gone down the drain if I had done that. So I now pay out my affiliates. So I just put that program together. If you're interested in that, you can check it out, thehappyworkaholic.com. But anyway, I just needed to come up with a plan, right? I'm like, okay, it's Wednesday. My VIP newsletters go out every Wednesday, so that's great. I let them know, like, let's figure something out. If you run a business online, like, you gotta make another plan. So what I did was I went to the thousands of followers I have on Snapchat and Twitter, Granted, my automation app, IFTTT, feeds everything into my Twitter feed, but I can't remember the last time I actually just tweeted, like from my iPhone, just sent out a tweet. So I went on Twitter, I was doing live videos, I was on Snapchat all day, and like, who doesn't love like all those amazing filters? You could just roll out of bed and look freaking amazing. And the swipe up feature is great because I don't have 10K on my Instagram yet. So the fact that they can swipe up and purchase my program right away is amazing. So that's great for a sales tool. So I'm diving back into Twitter and Snapchat just for a little while, see how it works. And I shouldn't really put all my eggs in one basket, right? So Facebook and Instagram are amazing, but there's other platforms, obviously LinkedIn. I've been living on LinkedIn for years. As a LinkedIn coach, I actually end up spending more time coaching others on it rather than utilizing my own. And so I kind of fell into this like habit of that. So I do post LinkedIn blogs twice a week, and I have been doing that for a really long time, once or twice a week. So I think I think it was like 306. I have over 300 posts on LinkedIn. Published post. So I repurpose my content over there all the time, the show over there all the time. And I'm always talking to people through comments and Messenger, but I haven't utilized the video yet. And I really should start doing that. But I just wanted to share with you what it is that I did when that happened. So obviously, if you're listening and you have a business, everybody's talking about this is why you need an email list. But it's not just for you if you have a business. It's for you if you are a mom, and a mom that likes to scroll Facebook when you're in line waiting to pick up the kids. I literally had a friend call me and say, what am I going to do for the next 45 minutes while I'm waiting to pick up my son? And I'm like, I don't know, meditate? Are you seriously going to sit on Facebook for 45 minutes? And I was just laughing, and I was like, oh my God, it just dawned on me. Like, so many parents, you set up a Facebook event and your kid's birthday party is there, but you should be organized. You should have an email list and make yourself like an email list, a phone number chain, like something, back in the day, people had address books and wrote everything down. But now, we live in such a digital time where go to MailChimp, create an email list, plug in those emails, like make your life easy and do these simple little steps that are just going to save you in the long run. If you want to have a holiday card, if you want to have a birthday party, you're going to have everybody's email there. So start collecting those emails. It's not just for business, it's for your personal life. Like, if there was an emergency and you needed to let other parents know or a circle of friends know, like that might be easier than a text. I don't know. I just think it's a really good idea. So I wanted to share that. And now next, because I've been in promo mode for Start Your Podcast Today, I have a lot of new clients, and I've been on the phone with them, like I said, coaching an hour and a half all week long. Different voices, different personalities, different inspiring women. And that is what just hit me this week. Like, I am so incredibly lucky to be able to do what I love, right? And I'm helping other women do what they've been dying to do, which is launch a podcast. The ideas that they have for their own shows are like blowing me away, and they trust me to like make that happen for them, help hold their hand throughout this process, give them all the tools that they need. And each one is so different. And every time I get off the call, and I didn't realize this till last night, because obviously I was up all night. And when I'm in launch mode and promo mode, and I'm like back to back, and I'm producing, 12 shows a week, sometimes I don't take a break till the end of the week. And yesterday I went to the beach. I took a break, and then I took 2 calls while I was at the beach. So I took a break from, it was like 6 o'clock until like 8:30 maybe. And so I watched the sunset. I took two conference calls there. And when I was done with the calls, I just could not believe like how lucky I am. I manifested the shit out of being able to walk to the beach in 5 minutes. I live here now because, and last night, if you watch my Instagram stories, I have this new highlight called Why. why is this always happening to me? I always have these crazy things that happen. So I started documenting them. So if you look on my Instagram, if you're not following me, The Happy Workaholic, you'll see one of the highlights. It says why. It usually happens when I want to record. So now that I'm so close to the beach, I have a lot of helicopters around. And it's so funny because I recorded for a friend on her podcast. I'm going to be a guest on her podcast, and we were recording, and she lives by the private airport inland, and she's also in San Diego, and I live by the beach. So we have helicopters and planes. I'm like, can this get any better? Don't these people know we have shows to record? I hide in my bathroom sometimes to record. You never know what's going to happen when you're so close to the beach, but I made that happen, you know? And so I finally took my break, and I was just, you know, at the beach, like finally taking in my day because it was absolutely nonstop. I went from doing live videos to producing shows to one-on-one coaching calls to being interviewed on a podcast, not once, but twice. And I wanted to and then I had to send out some emails for my new affiliate program. I was setting my schedule up for today and for next week. And it's just been nonstop intense, like answering all the messages I get through Facebook and Instagram about this new program. And it was just like nonstop. And so I finally, while I was at the beach, got to relax and realize, like, you just talked to all these women this week, and you're doing an amazing fucking job. So I'm giving myself like a high five. And as, you know, an entrepreneur and a business owner, it can be really stressful sometimes. And then sometimes it's like the best fucking day ever, right? The fact that I get to listen to all these ideas, here comes the motorcycle, coming, like pouring out of them. Like, they're so passionate, these women, about launching their own show. They're so fired up. They're so excited. They've been wanting to do it forever. I just sat back and like all of these calls were going through my mind as I'm sitting on the beach. The waves are crashing. It's dark out. Somebody had a little bonfire like down the way, and I really wanted to go over there to see if they had s'mores, but I held back. I was going to be like their new cousin. They didn't know they knew yet. But other than that, I did not go make a guest appearance at their little fire, but it smelled so good and it was nice to watch. And I didn't even think that you could do that here. It just hit me like, holy shit, like, you're on fire and you're doing a great job. And how can you make this even better? Like, so now I just want to, like, obviously I'm always, you know, sharing my personal story, my business tips, like all that. And I'm just like so inspired to do so much more. And this is why I need to really stop and take more breaks. And I'm trying to, especially for April, put my days together. A lot of people do time blocking, but I'm trying to do day blocking. It's really hard for me to, it's not that hard because obviously I go into game mode and I just get everything done, but it makes more sense and it's a lot smarter to plan my schedule where I record only on certain days. I coach only on certain days. One day I don't use my voice. That's always on Monday. Every now and then I'll do lives, but that's it. That's like my office day, like preparing for the week and, you know, doing research if I'm interviewing somebody, getting ready to share my story if I'm getting interviewed, and just like prepping my week, right? So gearing up for a crazy one ahead. And I really need to start doing my schedule better. So I'm starting to do that I'm doing day blocks. God, I have the hiccups again. So that's what's going on with me. But, you know I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I swear all the time. I have the worst mouth, obviously. I'm super loud. You might hit my voice. Like, I'm 80 pounds overweight. That's fine. But I'm just living my best life. And I obviously would love my life even more if I had like millions of dollars in the bank. I mean, who wouldn't? But I am so lucky that I get to do what I love every single day. And the fact that these women are trusting me and sharing their ideas and like paying me to coach them and helping me launch, allowing me to help them launch their own show. Like, it just like blows my mind. And then on the flip side, like, they're so inspiring to me. And it makes me just like really think about, I mean, I had to journal this shit out last night. I was like, I'm so lucky. I cannot believe, like, it gives me chills. I had like tears in my eyes last night. Like, how lucky I am to be able to help all these women, launch their shows. And it's just insane. Like, if you asked me 3 years ago, where do you see yourself? I would not be back in San Diego, and I would not be producing podcasts for online business owners, or I shouldn't even say that, other female like boss babes. Never in my mind. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is that you just never know where you're going to end up. Having an autoimmune disease and being misdiagnosed and having a podcast and having to format the last 20 years of my career into business coaching programs brought my business online. I wasn't doing makeup anymore. I wasn't running my luxury travel business. And now I'm not even in Vegas. So the fact that all of that has changed is just so crazy. I never ever thought that I'd be sitting on a mic or glued to my headphones and producing podcasts for people. Like, I'm self-taught. I taught myself everything. And now I get to teach others. And it's just so insane. And sometimes I get this fire inside of me where I just can't stop. I don't want to stop. And that was me this week, because I'm so inspired by these women that I'm working with, that I just like want to do more, like I've been saying. So I've been getting on Snapchat, I've been getting on Twitter Live, I've been getting on Facebook Live, and I've been doing my promo for this launch and so much more. And I've just been like nonstop. And I don't care what I look like. I mean, I have been putting on my face every day, which is a bonus, huge bonus, as a retired pro makeup artist for 16 years. You kind of get sick of that sometimes. But I was like, nope. I need to look semi-presentable, put my face on. So I guess I should say I don't care what I look like. But a lot of the times I go live and I have no makeup on. I throw on my glasses and I'm wearing my little Nike hat that I wear all the time. So I just feel like my message needs to be heard. And I'm definitely overweight. I'm working on that. But I just get on right away. Like, I don't hold back. And I feel like if you are struggling with something like that, you just need to do you, boo. Figure out what you need to do to make shit happen. If you are trying to launch something and you don't have the funds, figure out how it can be free. I've been there a million times. There's so much free content on the internet. If you can't afford my podcast and you're listening right now, you can't afford my podcast program, guess what? I did an entire podcast episode on how to launch a podcast for free. You can listen to it for free. There's so much other content out there. And I'm not just talking about podcasting. I'm talking about, like healthy eating plans, and, Pinterest is a like freaking search engine galore. Like, there's so much stuff on there that you can utilize and learn and take it to your, do printouts and take it to your office and take it to your fridge and, live your best damn life. Make those recipes, do your yoga, do your meditation, go out with friends, and just don't hold back. Because I feel like I've kind of like shifted in my personality this week. I'm like, you know what? Like, I just don't care. Like, life is so short. And the fact that I've just been given like a second chance, like, why am I going to waste that? Why? If I want to come up with a program, or if I want to go out to eat, I'm going to go. Because what if I can't go? What if I can't get out of bed? I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was getting, oh my gosh, welcome to my brain. I was being interviewed on somebody's podcast yesterday, and she had asked me what's my biggest motivator. And I said, the fact that I can get out of bed every day, that's what motivates me. For 3 years, I thought I was going to be paralyzed and blind, like at the snap of a finger. And that's not the case anymore. So the fact that I can get my ass out of bed, you better believe I'm going to have a productive day. Have I stayed in bed for a couple hours? Absolutely, because I go into like deep depression sometimes, and that's just part of like withdrawing from these ridiculous drugs I had to be put on. And that's just like a mental break that I need to obviously take. But when it comes to not having those problems, I'm up, I'm at the beach. I have on my vision board that, doing my walks is a non-negotiable. I have been eating kind of shitty lately because I was stressed out, but that really needs to stop. I need to be more mindful about my food. I mean, I know it, and I'm just not doing it. And I get into like a bad phase with that, but I'm adding more veggies to everything. So I'm hoping that is equaling it all out. Like I'll have my fresh juice and all my stir fry and my healthy soup. I made the best soup last night for the first time in forever. You can look at my Instagram stories, but it was my butternut squash soup box from Trader Joe's with all my veggies inside, and it always had salsa and garlic, and it was delicious. And I got a little French sourdough bread bowl from the bakery near my house, and I was living my best life. Totally could have done without the carb bowl. But I've been working my ass off this week, and that was my treat. And today I have therapy, so that's so exciting. And because I haven't seen my therapist in forever. And then I'm going to meditate with the monks in Encinitas, which overlooks the ocean full of surfers, which is like the most beautiful spot ever. So I'm really looking forward to that. But if you are holding back for any reason whatsoever, you just need to stop it. You just need to make shit happen. You need to go for it. Stop holding back. Stop worrying about what people are going to think about you online or in person, and just do the shit that you want to do. That's my whole point of this show. You need to do you, boo, right? And I really need to share with you to end the show how I just woke up this morning. So obviously I could like barely sleep last night, right? So again, I apologize about my voice, but like this message needed to be heard today. And this message is brought to you by Oprah. Yes, Oprah. I don't dream anymore. I don't know why. It just every now and then I'll have a dream and it literally wakes me up and I feel like it's so real. So I have to go into the note section of my phone because I had to immediately put it there. Otherwise I would have forgotten. So I had a dream. This was so real, you guys. And for somebody that like never dreams anymore, it was like so intense. I don't know where I was, but I got a phone call from Oprah. Oprah Winfrey called to my cell phone. I was like, are you kidding? But in the beginning, it was somebody else. She said, please hold for Oprah. And Oprah came on. And she's like, is this Kellyanne? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, this is Oprah. And I was like, it was like God was speaking to me. I was like, are you kidding? Why are you calling me? How did you even get my cell phone number? And I guess I did a podcast or I put it on my Instagram or something. And she heard about my story trying to find an attorney for my legal case for being misdiagnosed. And so we're on the phone. And then we got disconnected and I was like freaking out. And then I was like, wherever I was, this part I can't remember. I was like running around. I need another phone. I have to record a conversation. And so she finally called back, but it was like an hour later. I thought I lost Oprah forever. So Oprah calls back and she was on the phone and I'm like, oh my gosh, is there any way that I can record this conversation and put it on my podcast? Of course. I need Oprah on my podcast, okay? So, and she's like, that would be fantastic. And like, she was speaking like this, and I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding? So I'm running around. I finally get a phone to record it. And the first there was 3 phones. I really need to investigate this dream. And they were all flip phones. I'm like, what the hell? Who has a flip phone right now? Not 1, not 2, but 3 flip phones, okay? I finally get a recording device or another phone to record. And so I was able to record the conversation. So then we just started talking and she was asking me like what I did for the last couple of years and like where I lived. And I had mentioned I was a personal assistant in Beverly Hills. And she said, oh, that's interesting. what did you do? Like, this is how she was talking to me. Like, you guys, this dream is so crazy. I can't even believe I'm sharing this with you, but it happened for a reason. So I'm putting this out into the universe. Oprah, please call me. Okay, so she said, she was asking, like, what did you do? And I was like, oh my God, I ran around with like a black Amex. I would have all this cash and I would do like a million projects and blah, blah, blah. She's like, that's interesting. How much cash did you feel you were comfortable carrying? How much cash were you given every day? And I said, well, it really depends. So she was basically drilling me, like asking my advice for all of her assistants. And she told me she had 12 assistants. And she said, this is interesting. I need to ask them how they feel comfortable with this money. And I'm like, what? So listen, guys, if I'm getting all this money or a phone call from Oprah, like, thank you, Jesus. It was so crazy. So crazy. So then, okay, let me go back in my notes on my phone. Okay, so then I was running around trying to find another phone to record. Okay, I told you that. And then she agreed that I could record. And then I said, can I... and we never went over the fact that, like, she called me. Like, why are you even calling me? So then I asked her, and I said, do you have time for me to share my story with you? Can I share my story with you? And she's like, yes, go ahead. Like, God, Oprah. And so I told her, and I said, is there any way that you can help me find an attorney or help me share my story? And she said, absolutely. I will help you share your story. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, Oprah sharing my story. Thank you. Not only do I Oprah sharing my story. Like, what the hell? How am I having a dream, first of all? And how is it about, like, sharing my NMO story, being misdiagnosed, trying to find an attorney, because now I've called over 100, and Oprah is now going to help me. Like, are you kidding? That was my dream, you guys. Excuse me. So I had to share that with you because she's coming into my life soon. And I had to put my dream on my podcast to prove, backdated, like, Oprah was in my dream. She's going to help me share my story. She called me twice. And then she was asking my advice about being a personal assistant so that she can make the jobs of her personal assistants even better, of course, because she's Oprah. She cares about everybody. So that little story I needed to end my show on. Like, freaking Oprah was in my dream. Like, you guys, it was so real. I'm just like, it blows my mind because I told you, like, I never dream anymore. And I do this hypnosis, so I'm like out cold. And if I don't do the hypnosis, I'm just up all night with insomnia. So I don't know. Somebody needed me to think about Oprah in my sleep last night. And I hope she's coming my way, let me tell you, because that would just be like life-changing. So just to recap today's episode, I have filled you in on my Start Your Podcast Today program. If you're interested in a podcast, you need to find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Happy Workaholic and let me know so I can help you. 2, do you, boo. Figure your shit out, make shit happen, and don't look back. You only have one life to live, and you need to make it the best. And if somebody's inspiring you and motivating you, whether it's on the gram, on Facebook, on your Snappy Chat, like anywhere in real life, you need to tell them, because those little comments can really change somebody's mindset, and day and life. So that's what I have for you guys today, plus my amazing Oprah dream. I just want to thank you so much for listening to all my episodes, and this one's so much less stressful than the last. So hopefully I'm going to continue on this path, but that's my life and I'm sharing it all with you guys. So hopefully by sharing my story, I can help you with yours. And if there's any questions you guys ever have about anything, please let me know. And obviously, I mentioned earlier, I'm sitting on Twitter now these days. And so if we're not connected on Twitter, you can find me. If you type in The Happy Workaholic, you'll find me. But my handle is actually Kellyanne Gorman. So just click it in the show notes and we can get connected. And that's all I have for you guys today. I'm super excited for my day. I have my therapy. I'm interviewing somebody for my podcast. And I'm going to meditate at the Koi Fish Gardens. And St. Patty's Day is right around the corner. I'm so excited. All right, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And if this show hit home for you, share it with a friend. I would really appreciate it. I love getting tags on Instagram and connecting with all of you. And one more thing before I go, iHeartRadio finally updated my media. It was like a month. I could have done it on Apple Podcasts in 2 seconds, but it's okay because I love my family at iHeartRadio and you can chat with me live. Did you know that? When you download the iHeartRadio app or you use it on your desktop, you can actually talk to me while you're listening to the show with the Facebook plugin. How amazing is that? So try it out next time. I cannot wait to talk to you guys again soon, but until then, I'm off to enjoy my Friday. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. If you liked this episode, please share it with someone who you feel needs to hear this message. And don't forget to tag me at The Happy Workaholic on Facebook and Instagram so I can feature you on my stories. And if you have 2 minutes and listening on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, I would love it if you could leave me a review. Those messages mean so much to us podcasters, and they really help me create more of the content that you'll love. Want to continue today's conversation? It's simple. Head to Facebook and search for the Happy Workaholic Network Facebook group. Answer the questions, and you're in. For more information on myself, coaching programs, weekly newsletter, and more, visit thehappyworkaholic.com. The Happy Workaholic Podcast is part of the iHeartRadio Podcast Network. Be sure to follow the Happy Workaholic Podcast on iHeartRadio or subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. I hope that your day continues to be happy, healthy, positive, and productive, and I'll talk to you again soon.